are few events in Richland County's history that can compete with the pride, success, participation, and value of the Richland County Dairy Breakfast. It could be argued that it's been one of our most visible agricultural program success stories, and it's a great tourist draw at the same time. It's built community spirit. Annette Lewis has been the breakfast coordinator from the start. She just never realized she was signing up for a lifetime commitment.
Avery Marshall was around, and Avery says, "Oh, Annette, you got to come. And so I went, and the room was quite full. There was enough people there that we were clear around one whole table, and a lot of different people. There were agribusiness people, there were farmers. The other person that was a lot of help to get started was Karen Schaff, Bob Schaff, and Karen farmed over on the Pippin farm. And she had been Miss Alice in Dairyland, so she had all the experience of having a breakfast on the farm. So she could give us different ideas. I guess what really sold me was the fact of getting people back on the farm. And that mission has carried through for 35 years. You know, we've gotten people back on the farm. And if we hadn't kept people coming back to the farm, they don't understand what it takes to produce and get that milk in the store or that product in the store. And this has really grown, and it's wonderful. It was meant to be, or it would never have made 35 years.
Dairy has changed significantly in the time the Richland County Dairy Breakfast has existed. 35 years ago, there was almost always an active dairy farm in sight throughout rural Richland County, no matter where you were at. Ironically, though, the goal to help people understand where their food comes from and the importance of the farm to all consumers makes the breakfast even more important than when it was started. The first breakfast was held on a Saturday at the Ray and Sylvia Schmidt's farm. Annette Lewis says it didn't take long to realize that a Sunday would be better, allowing business people to volunteer and food to be served over a wider time frame. There were growing pains, and the long lines of the early days were troublesome.
Oh yes, I wanted to pull my hair out several times, and you know, I would go to other counties to see what they were doing, because that was one thing. You lose your crowd. If they know there's going to be a line, they aren't coming. Because, you know, you sit down at a restaurant and you get served, and plus we wanted them to keep bringing the whole family. And standing in line, either with elderly and young children, is no fun. So that was the other reason why. And we just have modified over the years. And, you know, first we started out with flat griddles that didn't go around. And those were buggers just to carry and put in place. Eventually, I watched and see that the other counties had these rotary ones. We borrowed from a couple counties for a few years. And so then I had a guy in the community that did gas work and another guy that did metal work. And I says, guys, I want you to build me one. And they just went with it. And so consequently, we have two of our own rotary griddles. We loan one out throughout the year to different events so other people can use it. And then the other two griddles we borrow from Sauk County Dairy Promotion every year. And we go Saturday when they're done using them and they're cooled off. My dad picks them up with two young men and bring them to wherever we're at. And then we take them back Sunday night back to Peterson's in Sauk County. So that's worked really good over the years.
It's no accident that the Richland County Dairy Breakfast features most all of Richland County agriculture.
We started out with a very basic menu. It was just pancakes and ham. At Ray and Sylvia's the first time, it was less than 1,000 people. We learned a lot that first year, and we kind of built from there and went to Mike Schultz after that and Betsward Farms, and it was a very much learning experience. And I learned a lot from other counties who had been doing it longer than us. A couple counties had juice. And I thought, I don't want to mess with juice, and we don't grow oranges. You could have done apple juice, but I thought applesauce was more of a basis. And the orchards have donated over the years money towards purchasing that applesauce. Oakwood does it now for us. And it's a good product, and a product that most people eat. And then they connect with the fact, apples, you know, they're from Richland County too. The cheeses, oh my. The curd, of course, is always the favorite. And we The last few years, we've gotten a little closer to not running out, but that is really hard to judge because in our county, you can serve yourself. So there's some people who really don't get curd any other time of the year, but at the dairy breakfast. So they're going to help themselves with that. And a few years back, I decided, well, Westby's just up the road from us. They make cottage cheese, so why not put cottage cheese on the menu? And that's been a great thing too.
Annette says it should never be forgotten how supportive the business community has been for the Richland County Dairy Breakfast. From skid steers to electrical service, to products and volunteers to UTVs, the support of the business and ag community has been one of the keys that's unlocked the door to success for the Richland County Dairy Breakfast, along with a host of workers.
I counted up this last year alone, we had over 200 people who helped serve and put on the breakfast. The other thing that we are so fortunate in our county is we've been able to tie into service groups. The 4-H clubs in our county are awesome. Some of these kids have outgrown 4-H and they come back and help put in 2 hours or 3 hours.
The Richland County Dairy Breakfast has promoted the dairy industry, built community, and been a good end to an occasional drought.
First year that Keller's hosted at Nash Creek had to be a flood. There was no way of getting around it. We have learned how to solve any problem that you could possibly imagine. I mean, it was raining so hard that first year at Keller's that we got pallets and people walked on pallets to get into the shed to eat. But people came. I mean, that's amazing to me. People came, and you know, when you're signing your name to thousands of dollars of food that you got to serve, it's like, Lord, send them.
And they come faithfully and enjoy a great meal together as a family.
The families that come is just awesome, and that's probably one of the things I enjoy the most is seeing the families year at year. And there are some families that seek you out and make sure you know they're there. And then a couple times I'll sit down and visit with them and see how they're doing and everything. And that's one thing we have probably done a better job at over the years in getting it so that the handicapped people can sit right down. We've got some picnic tables now that have the extenders on the end and they can just wheel a wheelchair right underneath it. Whenever we set up, we try to get them as close, unloading the buses as close to where we're serving so there isn't much travel or space, or there's a place where they can unload and get right back on to the buses. I can't say enough about the buses. I'd go to Monroe County and they'd bus people and I thought, oh God, I don't know if Richland County people will ride a bus to a farm, you know, but it saves so much for you to ride that bus. And I have had so many senior citizens say to me, oh, it's just a joy to sit in the bus, look out the window and look at the scenery. Not have to worry that maybe your car is going to be way over here, or, you know, it's a little wet and parking's going to be a little slippery. They said, I get on that bus and you help me unload and you help me get back on. And that has been a godsend. And we started with one bus up at Fry's that first year, or 2 buses the first year. And that's steadily growing too. I mean, we had 5 buses. It depends on the distance and how far we're traveling, how many buses. We get those buses sponsored. It's not a cost of the dairy breakfast. That we have sponsorship, and all 5 buses were sponsored, paid for this year for us. So that helps a lot.
It seems that events come and go, and things are changing today faster than most of us would like. As we celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Richland County Dairy Breakfast this evening, we do so with some thoughts of a bright future.
Well, I think it has an unlimited future because I still have farmers who want to have it on the farm. That's the whole thing. We have to have the host farm, and sometimes it's January before I get a commitment from somebody. I do have a commitment from a farm for 2017, but I don't quite have the line sealed on the 2016 one. So I'm still working on that. That's the hardest part of my job, is getting somebody to host it. I can get workers, I can get food there, and everything fits in that day. I know some people think, how can you do that? And it's just built every year until I wear out Of course, they also told me they'd get me a motorized wheelchair, but we're not going there. So, but I've been trying to find somebody I could train, or two somebodies that would be willing to see how it's done. I record every farm in the last 15 years has a 3-ring binder on them. So someone could pick it up and go with it. Over the years, we've built the support of different people helping serve. The 4-H clubs in this county are just wonderful, and people who stir up pancake batter were kind of aging out there, and I thought, what are we going to do about that? Well, then Sobronic's 4-H club has kind of gotten some more families in now to stir up the pancake batter. That is a very unique part of our breakfast. We used milk in the pancake batter. And anytime you go to eat pancakes, you can tell the texture of a pancake if it's got water in it or if it's got milk in it, and how it's stirred up. If you got a big fluffy pancake, that's got milk in it. If it doesn't have that milk product in it, it would be a little thinner and not as thick. The other thing is sometimes they get tough if they're sitting and waiting somewheres. And that's another thing that we've always wanted to do. Never put them in an electric roaster. Just serve them right off those big griddles.
It seems that for all the good the Richland County Dairy Breakfast has done for Richland County farms in particular, and Wisconsin agriculture in general, the breakfast organized by the Richland County farm women will leave a legacy far greater than pancakes, cheese curds, and cottage cheese.
We've been very fortunate because we've had very successful breakfasts. Over the years, we have given back to the county. We've given back to Pine Valley Manor. We've given back to United Givers. We've given back to the food pantry. The cheese drive, every couple years we give to that. We will give back to Walk with Grace every year. Every year that's built up to $1,500, $2,000 is what we're giving back every year to that organization. We pay the 4-H clubs $100, their participation to come out and send volunteers. We give them $100 even if they have 3 members. And that helps that 4-H club to sustain and keep going too. And a lot of different organizations like that will do that. The Lions Club and Rotary and different organizations over the year. So that's probably the part that we don't communicate well to the county, is what we've given back over the years.
Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm." Tonight is a salute to the enthusiasm that's allowed the Richland County Dairy Breakfast to be great. The enthusiasm of the Richland County farm women and the many partners who've steadfastly stood with them. The enthusiasm breakfast hosts have gifted all of us with over the last 35 years. The volunteers who've enthusiastically stepped up and shared their time. The community that's validated its enthusiasm with generous donations and support. And to all who have picked up a spoon and fork to enthusiastically enjoy the wonderful food served over the last 3.5 decades at the Richland County Dairy Breakfast.